Get out of my house.
Your house? This is my father's house, Kunle. You are standing in it because of me.
Not anymore.
Someone help me! You cannot do this! Kunle, please! 6 years! 6 years and this is what I am to you?
You were never anything else.
My family, my father's name, and you destroyed all of it.
To understand how Sade Coker ended up on her knees in the rain, we have to rewind 6 years to a university, a registration line, and a secret she guarded more carefully than her own safety. Her father was Chief Deji Coker, construction, transport, real estate, telecommunications, a name that opened every door in the country. But Sade didn't want doors opened for her. She wanted to know if nobody knew her surname, would anyone still choose her? Her mother had died when she was 10. Since then, her father's love had become a wall around her. A driver, a bodyguard's distance, a phone call if she didn't answer fast enough. At university, she begged him for one thing. "Let me experience life like everyone else," she told him. He gave her that freedom, reluctantly, and only with eyes still watching from a distance. What he could not give her was protection from the danger he never saw coming. A young man came barreling down the steps and collided with her. Her folder opened, forms scattered across the ground, and students stepped over them without stopping. He knelt beside her immediately. "Here, let me help you." His name was Kunle Wells. Tall, well-spoken, his shirt faded, his shoes repaired more than once. He picked up every page, found one soaked in a puddle, and wiped it dry with his own handkerchief. If the registration office rejects it because of the stain, you will have to join that terrible queue again. She laughed beside herself. That queue nearly ended my education before it started. And in that one small act of kindness, he planted the first seed of a lie that would take 6 years to fully bloom. That was the beginning. And for Kunle Wells, it was exactly the beginning he had hoped for, though not yet in the way you're thinking. 3 weeks into their friendship, Kunle saw something that would change the course of both their lives, and it happened by pure accident. Walking toward the finance office, he stopped short. Sade stood nearby, speaking with a middle-aged man in a dark suit, who handed her an envelope. "Your father asked you to remind you about dinner on Saturday," the man said. Kunle recognized him instantly from business magazines. Marcus Bell, Chief Financial Officer of Coker Atlantic Holdings. A black luxury car waited outside. The driver opened the door for her like she was royalty. Kunle didn't move. He just watched. That night, he searched her name online, and what he found changed everything. Photos of her as a child at charity events, headlines estimating her father's fortune, images of a sprawling mansion. Kunle's roommate, Dele Bennett, walked in and caught him staring. "What are you looking at?" Dele asked. Kunle slammed the laptop shut. "Nothing," he said, too quickly. He reopened it anyway. Dele's jaw dropped. "Chief Deji Coker, that man has more money than some governments." Kunle pointed at the photo. "You remember the girl from the registration building? That is her. She is pretending to be ordinary." Dele sound. "Maybe she wants a normal life." Kunle's smile turned cold. "Or maybe she wants someone who will love her without knowing she is rich." Dele warned him that very night. Kunle didn't listen. And what he said next would explain everything that came after. "Poverty was already destroying me," he told Dele flatly. Remember that line, because by the end of this story, it will explain a murder. From that day forward, Kunle Wells became everything Sade Coker had ever prayed for, and every single kindness was calculated. When she mentioned her late mother's coconut rice, he spent 3 days learning to cook it exactly right. When she fell ill before an exam, he sat outside her apartment door all night. When a classmate insulted her, he defended her without ever raising a fist. And whenever she tried to offer him money, he refused it every single time. "I don't want you to think that is why I am here," he told her once. Those words touched her more deeply than anything else he ever said. She had no idea they had been rehearsed for exactly this moment. Under a tree on the library lawn one evening, she opened up about her childhood, the 30-room mansion, the driver who followed her everywhere, the loneliness after her mother's death. "You are the first person I have told some of these things," she admitted. He took her hand. "You are safe with me," he said. She believed him completely. Every secret she gave him that night, he filed away, not as something to cherish, but as a weapon to sharpen for later. He became popular fast, helping classmates with assignments, organizing birthday surprises, volunteering at community events, until the entire campus considered him the most humble, hardworking man they knew. Everyone believed it. Everyone except one person. Someone was watching Kunle's true face, and that someone was about to find proof. Late one night, Dele found Kunle's notebook, pages filled with company names, inheritance laws, marriage settlement notes. "What is this?" Dele demanded, flipping through it. "You are studying her father's companies." Kunle grabbed it back sharply. "I am a business student." Dele's voice rose. "You are studying her inheritance." What followed was the most honest conversation Kunle Wells would ever have, and the last time anyone tried to stop him. "You grew up with parents who owned a home," Kunle said, voice raw. "I grew up watching my mother beg landlords for more time. I have worn another man's discarded clothes. I have gone to sleep with water in my stomach because there was no food." Dele stayed firm. "That does not give you the right to deceive Sade." Kunle's face went cold. "The world deceives poor people every day." "She did not make you poor," Dele said quietly. "No," Kunle answered, "but she can make sure I never become poor again." Dele warned him one last time, "This will destroy you." Kunle only smiled. "Poverty was already destroying me." 2 years passed after that conversation. 2 years of patience, 2 years of performance, and Sade Coker never suspected a thing. When Sade finally told her father about the relationship, 2 full years in, Chief Sade Coker was not pleased. "You have been seeing him for 2 years," he asked, removing his glasses. "You cannot be certain of a person's heart." Sade answered firmly, "He loved me before he knew who you were." That sentence silenced him. What she didn't know, what she would not learn for 6 more years, was that Kunle staged that very discovery from the very beginning. The shock, the wounded silence, the dramatic return, all of it a performance so convincing it became the strongest proof of his sincerity. At a formal dinner soon after, Chief Sade asked him directly, "What are your intentions towards my daughter?" Kunle set down his fork. "I love her, sir." "And how do I know you are not interested in her inheritance?" Kunle didn't flinch. "You don't know, sir, not yet. Trust is not something I can demand from you. I can only earn it." For an entire year, private investigators dug through his past, his hometown, his teachers, his old employers. They confirmed the poverty. They confirmed the hardship. What they never found was a locked notebook hidden inside his room because Kunle warned his own mother before they ever arrived. "But did you know she was rich?" his mother asked, confused. He gave her a hard stare. "Just say what I told you." She obeyed, the way people who love someone often obey, without asking why. Chief Deji began inviting Kunle to formal dinners. Kunle asked intelligent questions, never interrupted, spoke respectfully to every servant and guard in the house. When Chief Deji suffered a minor health scare, Kunle spent the entire night at the hospital, holding his hand. Slowly, carefully, Chief Deji let his guard down. He began treating Kunle like the son he never had. One Sunday in the garden, watching Sade laugh by the pool, Chief Deji said quietly, "She has not been this happy since her mother died." Then he turned to Kunle. "Her mother once told me love should make a person feel safe, not small. If you marry my daughter, never make her feel small." Kunle placed his hand over his chest. "I promise. It was the easiest promise he ever made, and the first one he would break. Months later, Kunle proposed in the university garden where their story began. "Years ago, you dropped your papers outside the registration building," he said, kneeling. "I thought I was helping you pick up documents. I did not know I was picking up the first pieces of my future." She said yes through tears. The wedding became one of the most celebrated events of the year. Politicians, business leaders, and celebrities filled the church. Before walking her down the aisle, Chief Deji held her hands. "You look exactly like her," he said, touching the necklace, "and I know she's proud of you." But in the back of that church sat the one person who knew the truth and said nothing. Dele Bennett watched Kunle's eyes as the ceremony began and saw no joy in them, only triumph. The first year of marriage looked perfect from the outside. Kunle cooked for her, sent flowers to her office. But behind closed doors, he was studying something else entirely: the exact structure of Coker Atlantic Holdings, which executives were loyal, which document required Sade's signature, and most importantly, the family trust that kept full control just out of his reach. He made himself indispensable, exposed the manager's fraud, introduced a profitable partnership. Within 2 years, Chief Deji promoted him. Not everyone was fooled. Eleanor Grant, the company's legal director for over 22 years, went straight to Chief Deji. "Sir, I think you are giving Kunle too much access," she said. "He has requested copies of the trust structure, insurance policies, and succession documents." Chief Deji wasn't alarmed. He is family. "He is also ambitious," Eleanor pressed. He approached 2 board members privately, asking how voting rights would transfer if you were unable to lead. That night, Kunle wrote one name in his notebook. Beside it, 2 chilling words: remove her. He didn't fire her. He didn't threaten her. He simply fed false information through another employee until it looked like Eleanor had leaked confidential documents to a competitor. The evidence was fabricated, and it worked perfectly. She came to the mansion to plead her case. "I have served your father faithfully for 22 years, she told Sade. "Someone is setting me up." Kunle descended the stairs, feigning sympathy. "I heard what happened," he said. "I am sorry." Eleanor stared him down. "No, you are not." She turned to Sade before leaving. "It means your husband is not the man everyone thinks he is." No one believed her. Eleanor's career at Coker Atlantic ended that day, and with it, the last person positioned to stop what came next. Around this time, Chief Deji's health began to fail. Headaches, fatigue, dizziness. Doctors blamed stress, and Kunle became suspiciously, perfectly attentive. "I have revised my will," Chief Deji told him one afternoon. "Sade will inherit the controlling interest. If she does not want to run the business, I want you to help manage it." Kunle feigned humility. "You trust me with that?" Chief Deji's answer was firm. "I trust the man you have shown yourself to be." For one brief moment, something almost human moved behind Kunle's eyes. Guilt. Then it was gone, buried under 6 years of ambition. That night, Kunle crossed out a line in his notebook. As long as Chief Deji lived, complete power would never be his. What happens next is the moment this story stops being about love and becomes something else entirely. Watch closely. Rain tapped the windows of the quiet mansion at midnight. Chief Deji slept, frail and grey-haired. Kunle entered silently, carrying a glass of water. He lifted a framed photo of Sade and her late mother from the nightstand and stared at it for a long, unbearable moment. Chief Deji stirred. "Kunle," he murmured, "you should go home." "I wanted to check on you," Kunle said quietly. Chief Deji smiled weakly. "You are a good son." Those 5 words struck him harder than anything in 6 years of lying. He looked away, and then he chose greed. Chief Deji drifted back to sleep. Kunle put on a pair of black gloves and reached for the spare pillow. The old man's eyes snapped open. Confusion, then horror. "Kunle," he breathed. I will not describe what happened in the next 60 seconds, but when it was over,
Kunle Wells straightened the bed, pocketed his gloves, and walked into the hallway to scream for help. Help! Call an ambulance now! The doctor ruled it a natural heart failure. No visible injuries. A grieving daughter believed every word. At the airport, Sade collapsed into Kunle's arms. "My father," she wept. "I didn't say goodbye." He held her tightly. "I was with him." "Did he say anything?" she pleaded. "He said he loved you," Kunle told her, gently and completely false. She wept against his chest, never seeing the look on his face as he stared past her at his own reflection in the airport glass. Months later, while Sade was too broken to think about the company, Kunle Wells sat down in her father's old chair for the very first time. He opened a locked drawer, trust documents, insurance files, ownership records, and pulled out his old notebook. Page 1 read, "The Coal Empire. 4 steps, numbered. Win Sade's heart, earn her father's trust, enter the company, take control." He drew a line through the 4th. Then he turned to the final page. 1 sentence. "Make everything mine." He smiled, slow, satisfied, alone with his triumph. Behind him, the office door stood slightly open. A shadow shifted in the hallway. Someone had been watching. Someone now knew exactly what he did. He never turned around. He never saw the figure slip away into the dark. Somewhere in that building, for the first time since Chief Sade Coker died, someone else now holds a piece of the truth. Who was it? What will they do with what they saw? And how much longer can a killer keep smiling in his dead father-in-law's chair before the woman he betrayed finds out everything? You are not ready for what happens in part 2. The mask is about to fall, and it will fall in the rain.